Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you the interface basics for this little game called Transit King Tycoon. It's been around since 2017 and it's been under active development ever since. And with it being under active development, a lot of things are going to continue to change as this video gets older, but really the core mechanics have stayed the same, so this should be a good jumping off point if you're brand new to the game. With that said, let's get started with some of the basics. So if we're just looking at the screen right now, this is what you're going to be spending most of the time that you're playing looking at the screen in this setup. If we click anything along the sides or the bottom or up top or even any of these little icons around the city or the road, it's going to open another menu. And there's quite a bit of menus, but really once you spend some time with it, it'll all start to make sense. In the upper left, we have the player level. And if you tap on it, it'll give you a little information. It'll show you how much experience is left until you get to the next level. And it'll say, hey, you can get this experience by completing city requests and contracts to gain experience. So a city request are all these circles that are above your cities. And if you click on one, it'll have the same little shield icon on the left-hand side that was next to your player level. This is saying, if you deliver this amount of these materials, it's going to award you at the end with a bonus of this much in experience. So that experience will then get added to here, and this progress bar will start to go around. And once it's all the way around, boom, you're the next level. And with that level, you'll unlock vehicle upgrades, new vehicles, you'll be able to build better roads, all kinds of fun stuff to progress you through the game. Next to your player level, you have your username or company name. If you click on it, it'll take you to a screen that will let you change your name if you choose to. You can also cycle through these guys, and this will let you change an icon next to your name in the in-game chat. Underneath your player name, you have what is referred to as company value, and it's often abbreviated in game as CV. So if you see users talking or asking what somebody's CV is, they're asking for this number up here. And this number is just a combination of the deliveries that you've done over the past 7 days, and it also includes some of your asset values like vehicles and roads. I wouldn't get too hung up on this number. It doesn't really count towards anything besides one of the in-game ranking menus over here. And beyond that, it doesn't change anything. So with that, I just pulled up the leaderboard. Anyone that you've added in game, it'll show them on this list and it ranks them from the highest company value to the lowest. Actually, when you get partway down the list, it'll show your inactive friends. It'll list them as on holiday. This second tab, this is the alliance rankings. And this is the only one in here that isn't based off of company value. This is based on your alliance itself. So as your alliance improves and gets more resources, it'll start to gain the ranks. And that'll be reflected here. On this next tab, we have local. So this is including people now that aren't on your friends list. So it's just everyone in the local area, and it sorts it by country. So my local area is the United States, and we can see from here like lots and lots of people with much higher company values than me. There's lots of good players at this game, lots of people that have been playing for years. Get down here, finally see me. So go on to the next tab. We have the global rankings. This is just everyone. This isn't one region. This is just all the players that are active. They'll show up here. One of the areas that you're going to spend a lot of your playtime looking at and referencing is this set of 4 bars in the upper right. This first one is your fuel. The first number is how much fuel you have available to use, and the second one is what your total fuel tank capacity is. You see now mine's 32 out of 88, and it slowly regenerates over time. And as you get higher level, you'll unlock a larger total capacity. If you click on it, it's actually pretty helpful. It'll tell you how long until that fuel tank capacity is full. So once this number gets to 88 on mine, it will not bring this first number past 88. It'll just stop. So below that, we have drivers. The first number on drivers is how many you have out on routes right now, and the second number is how many you have available to assign. In the upper right-hand corner, we have coins. These are what you're going to use to upgrade almost everything in game, from your roads to your vehicles to your factories, raw resources, your seaport ship upgrades. It's really just the bread and butter of the game. And underneath that is the premium currency. It just goes by the name notes in game. Some people call it green money, but most really will call it notes, and that's also what it's labeled as in game. Under that, I'm just going to start going down through these interfaces. This one is contracts. Contracts are something that you get every day. I've already done some of mine today, so I only have one more listed. It's a reoccurring task. It's kind of like a quest, and it gives you these different reward levels. If you look, this is saying supply and demand, level up any city. So it's going to want me to get this bar underneath a city all the way to the end, and then it'll get it to the next higher level. And if I do that once, it's going to reward me with this 715,000 experience and this 2.3 million in coins. And that will award it either when this timer runs out or if you finish all three. So if I upgrade 3 city levels, it'll just complete it, and then I can come in here and hit accept, and it'll give me the best reward down here. I'll get this 2.1 million experience, 6.9 million coin, and 5 of the notes. So these are definitely something you want to keep up on if you can. Generally, when you open the game, go in, accept all your contracts, or collect the previous ones so you can get started on them right away. Because the sooner you finish one, the sooner you'll be able to get that one again. And it's generally a 24-hour timer. It's slightly less than that, but you do them in the morning, you'll have them the next morning waiting for you, kind of thing. The other tab we have is the jobs list. The jobs list you can really view as kind of an introduction to the game. It's the developers trying to give you a little guided path for the first 15 levels of the game. And you're not limited to doing these. You don't have to only be level 2 to do these level 2 quests. You can wait till you're level 30, 40, 50. It really doesn't matter. You can go back to these at any time. It's just kind of a way for them to remind you of, hey, you can build roads. Hey, you can complete city quests. You can level things up. You need to upgrade your vehicles. It's really, that's what it's designed for. It's kind of to give you an idea of the kind of general things you should be working on as you play. The next thing we have along this right-hand side is the Alliance headquarters. To get started with alliances, you're first going to need to go down here to this hammer icon. And on this first tab, if you haven't already built one, you'll be able to click Alliance Office, click down here, and it's going to allow you to place your alliance out on your map. And once you do that, you'll then be able to click this icon, and you'll want to first find an alliance. I wouldn't worry too much about finding the best one or anything like that right away. If you know of one that you're friends in, or you see somebody in chat advertising one and they seem like a person that you want to associate with and learn from, then feel free to join whatever they suggest. You would just type in the name up here, search, and if you typed in the name correctly, it'll pop up with their alliance. Any of them that you see open on, you can just join right away. If you see closed, that means that you have to apply to it, and then one of the guild leadership has to accept it for you to be able to be in the alliance. You can also filter it. You can say, hey, I only want to play with people that speak my language. Or maybe you're from a distinct part of the world and you're really proud of your culture and you just want to have locals that you're chatting with. Like, perfectly fine. You can go in there, pick filters, find just what's right for you. The next thing is kind of just the basics of alliances. Alliances at the most basic level are a group of people who are working towards one common goal, and that common goal is the weekly project. This is a progress bar down here. As your alliance members complete different projects, which are tasks or quests, it will give them progress, and this bar will fill and fill and fill. And every time it hits one of these little thresholds, you'll get a new reward. So let's take a look at what these projects are. Your projects are listed on this menu, and it's kind of easiest to pick something you'd already work on. So say you were going to go do a bunch of small orders. You can click this one, like, hey, like 20 small city requests, and these are all going to be different numbers. And if you didn't already finish your 500 points for the week, this is where it would show how many points that the project was worth. And your main goal every week is to contribute 500 points towards your alliance. And the awesome part is, as you contribute and as it fills up this bar that I was talking about earlier, you then can pick from all these different rewards. So if we just take a quick look, me getting 500 points, I can pick between 2 extra drivers for an hour. I can get unlimited city requests for 2 hours, twice experience and coin gain for 60 minutes. All super useful things. And not only do you get that, but you get to do the same all down here. And like just this bottom one alone, that's 50 of the premium currency and totals 100 a week. It's really nice, especially if you just use it with tasks that you were already going to do and you just hop in here and accept them, complete it, and just come in, hop to the next. A lot of people can really finish this in a day or two of casual play, and it's just so worth it just for these rewards alone. But not only do you get these rewards, but it also contributes these resources down here towards perks. And the cool thing about perks is perks are permanent. If you look at my alliance, we have gas stations, trucks, bus stop, and member capacity unlocked. So with this, increases gas station storage by 25%, decreases relocation costs by 8%. That's really nice. That's essentially 25% more time that you can have your game closed and your trucks are still getting refueled because it just has a larger tank now for your gas stations. And trucks, it's awesome as well. Like increases the sell price of trucks and decreases the upgrade cost by 10%. That's 10% more upgrades you can now invest in just because you're in an alliance and you're contributing towards the overall goal. Like you don't even have to communicate with other people. You can just work on the projects, and if the leadership's halfway decent, they're gonna handle everything else in terms of recruiting, kicking out inactive users, and you have a members list that's everything you'd expect. There's also a unique chat that's alliance only, so it's super useful if you join a helpful alliance because they're gonna help you with your questions. They're gonna want to help you get better at the game. And again, this community is pretty amazing overall. There's a lot of people that have been playing for years that are just willing to share their knowledge. There's constantly new players, so something that you just learned on day 2 of the game, you'll be able to teach to somebody else who's now brand new today. It's a pretty cool place. All right. After alliances, we have the weekly event. So the weekly event is kind of a challenge that you have for yourself, and it's a way to rank yourself against others who are similar level to you. If you look up here in the upper left of this, we can click this little information bubble, and it shows you what level ranges you need for each league. So if you're level 25, you're going to end up down in Midwood League, and you're just going to be competing against people that started the week in that league. So if you're level 34 and you level up during the event, you're still going to show in this lower league because that's where you started it at. And as you progress through the event, you'll unlock these tickets, and the tickets can be used in the event shop. And the cool thing about this is you can use it to essentially get free vehicles that are maxed level upgrades. So for me, I bought this level 5 Bolt with 40 event tickets this week, and that's just coin I don't have to spend now to buy another Bolt. I would highly recommend using your tickets as well to buy the premium currency. It's just a way you don't have to spend to get more of the in-game currency with real money. So every little bit adds up. And if you go to the competition tag, or the competition tab, this is again sorted by your league. You'll see it at the top, and then it's sorted by how many points that you've earned. And you'll see over here that each tier within the league earns a different ticket reward. So if you're top 1%, you get 8 tickets when the event's over. If you're top 10%, you get 4. And if you scroll down, you'll actually see the background color change. So we went from diamond, and now we see the gold. So people in this gold, they know they're in the top 10%. So this is the reward they can look forward to. And you might be asking yourself, how do you get those points? You go back to the first tab. Each week this is different, but it'll show you what different things you can do to earn these points. And this week's event is one of the road and city upgrade events. So you can see if you're upgrading a road that's level 2 through level 7, it's going to give you this range of points towards your total. Your total shows up here, and you can look at this little icon and take a mental note that that's what you're going to be matching it with. So beyond just the road upgrades and city level upgrades, you can see that there's all these different products that earn you different points. When you start off at a lower level, you're not going to have the more advanced products. Like, you're not going to have these candies and drones and councils and ice cream sundaes and all that kind of thing. You're going to start off delivering some of the basics that you're already familiar with, like the apple juice or the pie or muffins or cheese or even passengers. It's a pretty cool way just to challenge yourself to try to be the best that you can without really being too competitive at the same time. It's just another thing that you can do in game, another way to earn more prizes, more trucks, more premium currency, just all the things that are going to help you progress further in the game. The next menu we have is your truck menu. I always keep it on the all vehicles tab. Everyone's going to have their own preferences. If you look at the parked tab, this will be all your vehicles that aren't in use currently. Your on routes tab are all the ones that are currently assigned. So if we reference the driver numbers over here, I have 47 vehicles that are out on delivery routes right now. You'll also see under your vehicles how much remaining fuel they have in their tanks. And one of the really great things about this interface is you can click the fuel icon up here, and then you can refuel multiple vehicles at one time. So one of the beginner mistakes you're going to want to avoid is don't just slide this all the way to the right, especially if you're finding yourself limited on fuel. If that's the case, you want to only refuel your vehicles that are lower on their tanks. So if we look here, I have a vehicle that's looks to be under 40% fuel. So that's one that's gonna run out of fuel before the others. If I drag this all the way over here, it's gonna consume all of my fuel, and then I'll have none for vehicles that consume it faster. If you look here, I have bolts, and they have a 52-minute fuel tank. So one fuel is going to last 52 minutes in that vehicle. If I go to another one, like these NAMs, one fuel will go for an hour and a half. So if you just slide that bar all the way to the right, you're just wasting fuel on NAMs that wouldn't need refueled yet. So if you find yourself limited on fuel, again, just slide this down. It'll really help you progress quicker and without running into all the headaches of being out of fuel. So from there, we can go down to the routes menu. The routes menu is a little more confusing. I'll make a future video explaining what all these icons mean, but a general rule of thumb is anything that's orange or red is not an active delivery anymore. So let's say that you were making apple juice. So with the apple juice, you are sending the apples to this factory here, the juicery, and then from the juicery, you're sending it to a city. Once that city request that's requesting the apple juice is finished, the icon next to the juice factory will turn red because it's showing like, hey, we're not in use anymore. And you can go over here and you can click the X, and that will cancel that driver from being assigned to those routes. You can also click and you can cancel all inactive routes at once, which is pretty handy. You can cancel all routes. That's like if you want to send all of your drivers just back to being able to reassign them again, this is how you do it in one click. Really nice quality of life update that they did recently. The next thing we'll take a look at is the inventory. The inventory is where your timed buffs are stored. So throughout different parts of the game, you are going to unlock and be rewarded with temporary bonuses. If we look at this one over here, it's a bonus that's going to boost all roads for 60 minutes. And this is essentially doubling the road speed for an hour, which is really nice. Your trucks just go wild. It's kind of fun to watch, especially when you're new. Just check in here from time to time, see what you have available to use. The unlimited city request, that one you'll find handy when you're working on just small and medium tasks as well. So there's a lot of things in here that are easy to forget about, but just come check in every once in a while. Most of the stuff in here as well rewards active gameplay. So if you're gonna not be playing too much, like if you're setting up for the last time you're gonna be on for the day, I wouldn't worry about using any of these. And you can also just save them up at the beginning. So after the inventory, we have the chat icon. You can go down here, and this is a great place to ask other people for help. You can also ask people for fuel, to where if you need fuel and you don't have any available in your own fuel stations or up here in the upper right, you can ask for fuel in here. You'll need to add somebody. To add someone, you just tap their name, click friend. Next time they open chat, it'll ask them if they want to approve it or not. You can see down here, this person named Pockets is looking for fuel. This other user, GT Haulage, he already fueled them, so I won't. But to do it, you would just tap their name. Once they're a friend, you can click refuel, and it'll just send it off. You get 3 of those per day. So it's a really handy thing when you're a new user, just to add some random people from chat, or come in here when you're out of fuel. People will help you out, and they're generally pretty fast about it. If you're a language other than English, you can switch as well here to different languages. You can also change to your alliance chat rather than having to go over to the alliance menu to do it every time. Next to that, we have the build menu. This is where you would go to build roads. I'm sure you're probably pretty familiar now after completing this tutorial of how to build a road, but if you forget, that's where it's located. You also have your gas stations, bus stops, and alliance office. Again, before you can join an alliance, you're going to need to place one on your map. Warehouses are another pretty useful thing. This is where you store goods rather than just delivering them to a city. So this is kind of an area where if something's complex and you usually have part of it that's slowing you down, you can store something at it so you can deliver from the storage facility to a factory rather than having to make everything all at once every time. You can also store finished goods here. If you click the icon here, it'll show you all the things that are able to be stored in each of these. I'd highly recommend getting familiar with it early on in the game. It really does save time and help you be more efficient when you get used to it. And then in the lower left, we have kind of what's the, if you're going to spend real money area of the game. You'll see though that down here there was an icon that shows 1. That means there's something in here free. Right here. It's 5 free notes. All you have to do is click claim. It's great. And then it'll start an internal timer. And once that timer's over, it's going to give you another random thing, whether it's a booster or free fuel or coins. So just keep an eye down here for when that red icon appears, because you're going to want to go in there and grab it. Next, we have this calendar icon. So if we click this, I'm going to start on the second tab. Every day of the month, you can come here and collect a reward on that day. So today I was able to collect this reward of 10 notes. You just click it and collect it. It's really simple. The last day of the month is always a pretty good truck for your level, fully upgraded typically too. So definitely if you're only going to do this once a month, which I would suggest you do it every day you play because it's really easy to collect. But if you're only going to do it once, make sure you do it on the last day of the month. The third tab, This is the streak tab. So every 5 days, you'll get a new streak, and this one you have to do it consecutive days. And if you don't, it'll have a little X icon. You'll click it, and then you'll have to abandon it. It's never worth spending the green notes to continue the streak. The rewards aren't good enough to spend the premium currency on it. The bottom one, it's not consecutive days. So this is just you've collected 11 days of the rewards up here, and then it'll add another day down here. And then when you get to the end, you'll get a premium truck generally, which is awesome because that's now you don't have to spend premium currency to get a premium truck. So another thing to keep an eye on. This first tab, this is a watch the advertisement and then get the reward kind of thing. The rewards are still pretty nice because even if you just look at the premium currency, you get 5 here and 10 here. That's 15 a day to watch a couple minutes of ads to support the developers that give us this game for free. So if you're willing to watch ads, this is a great thing to do every day as well. And from there, the last thing that we really want to focus on is the settings menu. And the most important thing in the settings menu is your player ID down here in the lower right. If something happens to your game, like if you switch devices or something gets corrupted with your save and suddenly you can't log in anymore, this is what you will need to give to the support staff to get all your issues worked out and get your game back how you expect it. So the first thing I would do after watching this video is take a screenshot of your settings menu and put that picture somewhere that you're going to be able to find that again, or write it down somewhere in a notebook. Well, if you found this video helpful, it would definitely help me out for you to subscribe, like, comment if you have any questions. I'll cover them in future videos. I'm here just to share knowledge. I'd love to gain the knowledge myself, and hundreds of players over the years have taught me the things that I know now. So I'm just trying to pay it forward, help you guys out a little, and in turn, I'm sure I'm going to learn something else new. So thanks for your time. Hopefully you learned something, and keep on trucking.